What's up guys, Dom Trimboli here from Refinancer, and today we're going to go over a video on the 3 steps for buying property in the second half of 2022. Over the last few months you would have heard lots of speculation about interest rates going up, property prices potentially falling after years of going up, and the question to be asking yourself is, how can you most effectively buy your next property? Now for investors, you would have had real estate agents or even valuations come back that may seem a lot higher than it was a couple of years ago. And the reality is your property has gone up in value. And that brings us to the first step, understanding your position. So looking at 2 things independently of each other, your borrowing capacity and of course the equity or value of your property is the first step. What we would suggest to do is get valuations of your current property. Now there's lots of different banks that will do this for free. Some will do it online, some will actually drive to your house and do a curbside, others will actually do a full inspection. And what we're seeing more often than not is these valuations are ranging in results. If you've got a property that 2 years ago was worth $1 million, it honestly could be worth 1.2 to 1.4 mil now, and there is that range because the data isn't as up to date. Things are moving very quickly. So the benefit of having a valuation that comes up higher means there's more equity for you to unlock for your purchase. It's really important you then pinpoint the bank that's going to work with you with the highest valuation, because that will potentially help you avoid LMI or even buy a property that you may not have otherwise afforded. Looking at borrowing capacity as well, there's different banks that have different criteria. So you might find a lender that also has a really high borrowing position that matches a really high valuation. That's going to be your perfect lender moving forward. Now, step 2 is all about accessing equity. Now, there's really 2 ways you can go about this. The important thing is to access a deposit so you can buy your next property. The 2 ways we can do this are through either refinancing or cashing out. Now with the first way, we would pinpoint that bank that's going to value your property at the highest amount. We would then refinance to that lender and understand your equity position, then telling that bank and giving them notice, hey, we're going to be using this equity for the next purchase. They can either release the funds to you or they can hold it. You can either refinance or cash out. When we refinance, we'd simply refinance your property to this new lender who will give you the higher valuation. This way here, everything's set and we can access more equity. Now, sometimes you'll actually want to have the cash in your bank account. This way we'd have to cash out. It still may involve a refinance, but this way you might ask a lender to give you around $100,000 or so to have in your bank account ready to go. Now this brings me to step number 3, pre-approval. Now with a pre-approval, you could either go to the same lender who holds your security. Now that would be the best way to do it if we're relying on cross-securitizing the property and you don't actually have the cash in hand. Now if you had the cash in hand through the top up or through just savings, we can go to any lender. And what we can do now is we can get a pre-approval ready just so when you go to market, your finger's on the trigger. Now from experience in COVID, everyone was looking for a bargain. They thought, wow, COVID's happened. Let's wait a few months, let's see what happens, and property's probably gonna go down and there's gonna be some opportunity. Wrong, it didn't happen like that, and that's what was so crazy. Looking back on it, the opportunity was actually in the announcement of COVID. Those first few months when COVID was announced, that was the time to buy property. Everyone was kind of halting like a deer in the headlights, and then bang, that would have been the time to strike. But what most people did, they waited a few months. They thought, let's let COVID roll out, let's see what happens. But everyone had that same idea. So when everyone went to buy property 6 to 12 months after COVID, there was no supply and high demand, which pushed prices up. Now here's another thing to look at. When interest rates do go up significantly, they already have 25 basis points, but it is expected there will be a real bullish 50 basis point or even 2 months in a row. Could that be the deer in the headlights moment when everyone's thinking, let's wait a little bit just to see what happens? But in reality, that could actually be the moment to seize. That's why getting a pre-approval organized now is the thing that can have you ready to go, because you don't want to be stuck when all the demand happens. You're going to be rushing to the bank or a broker asking for a pre-approval, and guess what? Turnaround times are going to be a while, and that's just going to push you into the pack, into the line, and ultimately you won't get the bargain. So what we're recommending to our clients, get pre-approved early. Even if you don't use it, you're going to have your finger on the trigger. And if opportunity strikes, you can do something about it. And better yet, when you are in a position where you can go unconditional on finance, it gives you leverage. The first question a real estate agent is going to ask, do you have your finance sorted? Saying a confident yes, I do, is going to give you the power. So that's our video over the 3 steps for buying property in the second half of 2022. We hope it's helpful. Feel free to like and subscribe. Comment below if there's anything you would like me to do a video on in future. And if you'd like to apply with Refinancer, click the link below and we'll catch you soon. Thanks a lot.